Hello, people of the internet. It's Amanda, and I promise this is going to be the last one. Don't quote me on that, honestly. I feel like whenever I like something, I tend to make more videos about it. Like Miman Kisatsu is obviously the glaring example, and then there's also Hanadan. So again, don't quote me on this. But anyways, I'm actually planning for this to be sort of like the wrap-up video for this entire King and Prince Land album saga that I've done so far. We've already talked about aesthetics, about the entire vibe of just, the album itself and how cohesive it felt, at least on a more surface level. So now I want to dive deep into the actual heart of the album, which are the songs. I've tweeted about this, I think a couple of days ago or a couple of weeks ago, where I literally have notes for this particular album, like each track. So I tried as much as possible to share my thoughts, or like really just write down my thoughts on them, just so I could talk about them and what I feel about each of them. And again, it all falls down to preference. So my favorites would probably be something that's different from yours, but I don't know, I just feel like overall this entire album has a very nice fresh tone to it, and it feels a lot more weaved, in my opinion, as compared to like their first one. Again, I love most of their tracks in their first album as well. I love a lot of like the edgy tones that we really got from them. It definitely sounds a lot like some of their senpai songs as well. So there's definitely that, like in a good way. I don't mean it in a very copycat-ish kind of way, but for this one, this definitely feels a lot more weaved, in terms of concept, in terms of how the tracks were arranged and everything like that. So that's what I'm planning to sort of like discuss a little bit further later on into this video. But anyway, so with that said, let's just jump right into it. 17 tracks in total, 16 for the limited edition versions and then 17 for the regular edition version. But for the intents and purposes of this video, we're all going to discuss them. So that is from Key of Heart to Bounce. Now I'm going to start with the first track, which is Key of Heart, which is the theme song for Ren Ren's Yoapeda movie. Now the thing with this is that I feel like for Key of Heart, it really encompasses or really sets the tone well for the entire album, because number one, it's a very motivational, encouraging type of track. The tune of it, it has that it's not exactly something new, or how do I say this? Like, it's not something that would make you feel like, wow, this is just a new, fresh sound, anything like that. So it's not that kind of tune, but it has a certain sense of comfort to it that, makes you want to listen to it in a way. Like, because there are songs where, it definitely feels like a very show tunes type of track that after one or two listens, it feels very exhausted. But for Key of Heart, I don't know, there's just something that's very fresh to it, that's very fun, but at the same time, like, the lyrics of it is also something that has a lot of heart to it that makes you want to listen to it over and over again. And again, I feel like it really sets the tone for the entire album and what it stands for, because again, according to the boys, when they're explaining the concept for this entire thing, it's really meant to be this very uplifting album, and that's the encompassing theme for basically every single track here, is that even if there's a bit of like sadness or wistfulness to it, it definitely wants to offer a little bit of like hopefulness. And I think Key of Heart definitely is the right track to start the entire list, basically. So there's that. And then I feel like it transitions really well to the second track of the album, which is End Love, which is the headlining track for this entire thing as well. So for End Love, it definitely has that classic Johnny's vibe to it. I'm not sure if you get what I mean, but it has that very, it has that touch of classic Johnny's in a way, but at the same time, it's also something that's very fitting for like a new wave type of sound, and it has overall it's just a very, very cute and catchy song. Definitely, again, still not on the same caliber as, say, Cinderella Girl. Like, I think that song has already had its foothold when it comes to being an iconic song, at least for King and Prince as well. But End Love has its own charm, and it has that certain level of just inducing this earworm in you that you just can't get it out of your head or your ears or your brain as soon as you listen to it. And again, I feel like combined with the concept that went into the music video of it, so that sort of like really covers why this song is something that's also lovable in a way, very appropriate for its title. And I don't know, I just feel like it's just something that, again, really works well with the entire concept of the entire thing. Past End Love, we move on to the third track, which is Breakaway. And what's interesting to me is that this one suddenly has a very nice shift in terms of tone. So with Key of Heart and End Love having that very nice cutesy tone to it, Breakaway suddenly gives you this very nice jazzy vibe that that definitely serves as a great transition from End Love to Mazy Night, which is the fourth track in the album. So again, Breakaway really provided that nice sandwich track to those two things because given the difference in terms of the rhythm of those two, it would kind of like feel off, at least for me, when I'm listening to it consecutively. You know, they really thought it well in a way that, you know, the sound would just perfectly transition into this very serious type of song. Now going back again for Breakaway, I really have a thing for very well thought out arrangements when it comes to music, and I feel like this one is definitely well arranged. I like how this also sort of like highlights a lot of the other sides to the vocals of the boys in a way, and it definitely has that very fresh vibe, at least for King and Prince as well. Because I noticed that here they also tried, like, there's just the entire album alone, they also tried to like mix very different textures of or kinds of music. It's not just one way or another, like it's not just cute or edgy just meshed into one another, but there are a lot of like other niches or genres that they tried to play off in this particular album, and Breakaway is really one way to sort of like is one of those tracks that really sort of like set the tone for that kind of variety in this album as well. So with that said, moving to the next track, which is Mazy Night. I know that this song, I feel like, is not like, it's not one of those songs, like it's not a song that people hate, but it's also not a favorite among other people. I saw a lot of people comparing it a lot to Naughty Girl, which I totally agree. Like, Naughty Girl is one of, I think, one of their coolest bops in my opinion. But to me, I don't know. Like, I'm not sure what it is about Mazy Night, but when I first heard it, I was really, I really like it for some reason. Maybe it's because of my own preferences when it comes to like just the music that I listen to, but this definitely has a very nice, and the way that they describe it is like, you know, the feeling of someone chasing you, and I feel like that's why I like this song. It has that intensity to it, and maybe it's because it's tied to Miman Kesatsu, so maybe that's also why I like it. But just overall as a track, I feel like this one has a very mature tone to it, but it's not necessarily sexy. So I think that's the reason why I like it, is because for Naughty Girl, it definitely has that playfulness or cheekiness to it. Whereas for Mazy Night, it's again, it shows another layer to King and Prince, where they are growing into more and more mature artists, but maturity doesn't always necessarily have to be equated to sexiness or sultriness in terms of the tone or the vibe. And I think that's what Mazy Night stands for, at least for me as a listener. So that's why I also like this song very much. Outside of it, I just like the entire vibe of this whenever they're performing it, because it really has that nice cool utilitarian type of vibe thing that really shows King and Prince is more than just, you know, your typical idol group that can only sing very cutesy songs. So yeah, I think, again, Mazy Night, definitely one of my favorites that came out from not just this album, but just as a single itself as well. So there's that. Now, with that, let's move to this track that honestly, I feel like is everybody's favorite from this album, including myself, Namiute Kokoro. This is a song that I didn't really pay much attention to it when they were just releasing descriptions for the songs, you know? Like, it's definitely not one of those songs that made me anticipate it when I'm listening to it wasn't one of those songs where I figured, you know what, I'm immediately going to like this as soon as I listen to it. But then when I finally got to listen to the songs, I was surprised by this, because just when it started, as soon as it started actually, that very retro vibe that they added, where it sounds a bit more like a muffed radio type of thing, the beginning, and then it transitions into this very suave, very cool, not really rap line, but really more of like that very nice soft spoken type of rhythm to it. That to me felt like this song has a lot of like textures to it, and it's just a tune that you can definitely imagine yourself singing a lot, even as, I don't know, months or years pass by. It has that level of classicality to it. Again, not the most, you know, wow factor kind of song, not like that at all. Like, it's definitely not at par with, say, some very deep ballads or anything like that, but in its own way, it definitely delivers that kind of charm that even if you don't know who King and Prince is or something like that, this song is definitely something that's very catchy, that would, I feel like, capture the attention of listeners if it plays on the radio. And I don't know, I just really like the textures that went into this song. It highlights a lot of like the different registers of the vocals of the boys as well. So it's so easy to listen to, and I feel like it's definitely one of those songs that's perfect, you know, when you're just driving or taking a walk, or I don't know, just chilling. And I don't know, I just love the elements, or how they combine very different textures and rhythms for this particular track. And it's totally understandable why a lot of people just absolutely love it, at least for the people that I know. And it's actually one of my personal favorites from this album as well. So there's that. From something that makes you feel good, we then move forward to Awa No Kage. And I have to say, you shouldn't listen to this song when you're feeling particularly emotional, because I don't know what's happening. I feel like, again, I was going through, like, you know, it's that time of the month, and I was just listening to this album very casually the other day, and I just started crying when I heard this song, because, again, it's not on the same level of tonality or the level of balladness when it comes to Ima Kimi ni, which is one of my favorite King and Prince songs. But the lyrics of this is just really something. It talks a lot about, you know, wistfulness and just remembering. But it's such a bittersweet type of song that there's just something to it that's really, it's definitely one of those songs that just breaks your heart so much that you wish you just didn't look up what the lyrics actually mean. But I've always loved slower songs from King and Prince, because I feel like that's when their musicality really steps up. And Awa No Kage is definitely one of those songs where the timbre and the rhythm of their voices really shine the most, in my opinion, at least for this entire album. And I feel like it definitely serves as a great transition from Namiute Kokoro, where it's just a very suave type of song, and then you move on to this, and there's just a lot of emotions that pour into this particular track, and you just hear it just from the way that they deliver their vocals, and I absolutely love that. And then what's funny to me is that from that very, very emotional song, you suddenly transition into, oh my gosh, this is one of my top 3, and I'm not ashamed to say it. ORESEN. Now we move to the member produced songs, and honestly, ORESEN is the reason why I wanted to listen to this entire thing immediately, like as soon as everybody started talking about it. Because for some reason, I saw a lot of people roasting this song as soon as the album was released, and I was like, what's happening? Like, what did Kishi do this time? And there are a lot of like edits, juxtapositions against, Power Rangers or other mecha type of anime or TV shows back in. It definitely has like a lot of like 90s jokes laced into it, and that really got me curious. So when I finally got to listen to it, I was like, I get why people are making fun of it. It has that very 90s anime OP type of vibe, but to me it just feels very, very nostalgic for some reason. I feel like it's because I'm the same age as Kishi, so maybe that's why. But I absolutely love this song. And I'm not ashamed to say it. It definitely has a very nice energetic vibe to it. I understand like the lyrics can be confusing in a way because it sounds like, I don't know, a video game inspired type of lyricism, but just overall I just absolutely love the vibe of it. It's very energetic. Again, it definitely sends me very 90s anime type of vibe, and maybe that's why it feels very, very special to me. But overall, it does really make for a good, I don't know, if you're thinking of something to motivate you, or you're cleaning the house, working out, or something like that, ORESEN is just, I don't know, I just love it. And I feel like it definitely overall, just for all of the member produced songs, it definitely is very signature to each and every one of them. Like, I feel like this definitely spells Kishi. As soon as you listen to it, you would know who produced it, and I absolutely just love this song. Love it so much. Yeah, and it's definitely one of my favorites out of all the other songs in this album. So yeah, and then you move past it, and then there's Lifestyle, which is from Kaito. Now this one, I think a lot of people sort of like confuse it in a way that maybe it's just a temporary title, and then we're reaching the release of the album, and apparently it is the actual title for this particular track. And but what I like about this song is that, again, very similar to Kishi's, this definitely sounds a lot like Kaito for some reason. Like, it just exudes that kind of vibe that he projects, that very nice positive vibe to him. And I like that he also had a hand in terms of writing the lyrics for this particular song. This has a very youthful, innocent, soft vibe to it that definitely delivers the himawari yellow aesthetic of his color image in Kinpuri. And I like how the song sort of like evokes different feelings from your senses. I'm not sure if it's just me, but when I listen to the song, it definitely evokes a different kind of like sound or color or taste to it. Like, it definitely feels very homey in a way. Like it delivers a different type of synesthesia to it. For some reason, in my opinion, like this song has that vibe. It definitely sends you to a memory that's very comforting. And I know that's just my feelings for this song. And again, it has that very nice, fresh tone to it that's very Kaito in a way, that highlights Kaito's personality so much in this song, and I absolutely like it because of it. And then from somewhere like that, and again, speaking from, something that evokes the personality of the person who produced it, we move to Laugh, and then I'm just floored. This is one of the songs that I'm most anticipated about, even prior to me listening to the album, because of the way Jin talked about Laugh End. Now, Laugh End is his produced song, and it's described as a medium ballad. And again, I'm a sucker for ballads, medium ballads, just give it to me. and I've always liked the way how whenever they sing ballads, again, not only does it highlight their individual vocal ability, but at the same time, there's just something that's a lot more layered when it comes to the lyricism and the rhythm and just the arrangement of King and Prince's ballads. And so when I got to finally listen to it, I absolutely wasn't disappointed. This song is, again, like, just knowing the depth of what went into the lyrics of the song, and just it's definitely not as heart aching as, say, Ima Kimi ni. Again, that's my baseline when it comes to like their current ballads, or like, say, Glass Flower. But this song is again, it has that tone of hopefulness in it, that it taps into a little bit of sadness, as with any ballad. It taps into a bit of sadness, a bit of like feelings of just negativity and everything that, whenever you're feeling down or anything like that, and then it tries to pick you up from there. So that, there are a lot of other reasons to just be happy and just laugh and just, love and anything like that. And it's definitely one of those songs that really has that level of comfort to it. And again, very fitting for the entire concept that they want to go into for this particular album. I highly commend Jin for this song that he produced and helped write. And I don't know, it's, again, one of my favorites from this album as well. I feel like I have a lot of favorites. It's just hard to categorize them as favorites anymore, because for it to be a favorite, it has to be, something that's special, or I don't know, just something that stands out. But I don't know, I just love a lot of the tracks in this particular album. And then we move to Ren's produced song, which is No Limit Tonight. Now, when I first heard of it, because he teased it in Radio Garden a week before the album was released, I was highly impressed. I like the vibe of the song. Again, it has a very nice suave tone to it, very cool, what they call this, very cool rhythm to it. And I actually thought that this was the song that they were going to perform in CDTV, mainly because they already teased it. And I feel like this is a song that would definitely work really well if they were to perform it live. And it definitely highlighted the fluidness of the voice of the boys' voices, and how it's like their voices are still very distinct from one another, but at the same time it has that very nice fluidity to it. And I feel like this is definitely it. For me, it sends me vibes of like, I feel like it's a love child of like Mixture and Feel Like Gold for some reason. But I don't know, I just really love the tonality of this one as well. Like, it, again, it shows the range when it comes to the songs that they can push out. And I really just love that about this particular album. And I don't know. And again, I think Ren did a good job, a really good job in terms of how this song turned out to be. And yeah, it's definitely one of those, like, it really matches his personality as well for some reason. Like, the coolness that he sort of like exudes really pops in this particular track. And I don't know, I just like that as well. Now let's move on to, okay, this song is, I feel like it's expected that I would have a very particular bias about this song, mainly because Sho is the one who produced it. But now, I already had high expectations for this song prior. I'm looking this and Laugh and would definitely be the track that I feel like I was looking forward to the most when they announced the titles or in the descriptions for the member produced songs. And obviously, like, if you set expectations that high, there's this level of fear as well that maybe you will be disappointed once you hear it. But as soon as this song played, and as soon as I heard it, and as soon as I heard the lyrics and everything, I couldn't help but be proud of how this song turned out to be. And kudos to Sho for this, because I I also saw like the description. I didn't know what to expect of it, at least in terms of the vibe of it, because when I saw the description, it showed that it has a lot of like musical arrangements that went into it. Like there's a brass arrangement, anything like that. So I was thinking, was it going to be like a very orchestratic in a way? Orchestratic? I don't know. What am I saying? But anyways, like you get what I mean. So I was very, very curious as to what it's going to sound like, but more importantly, like what's the message that it's going to be to deliver. And I immediately fell in love with this song. I mean, initially I was already, I had my biases of it. Again, I keep on saying this, but when I started to listen to it, I feel like, again, this is something that it's not a song that you would easily sort of like just listen to or sing to. I mean, unlike, for example, Namiute Kokoro or End Love or anything like that, it's definitely not the type of song that sticks to you in a way that you'll sing it in an everyday kind of vibe. But it is a song that when you listen to it, it feels really, really good. In a way, but I think most importantly, what I like about this song is, in terms of lyricism, it doesn't exude toxic positivity in a way, just like any other song in this particular album. It recognizes today, and the normality of things and the beauty that lies in the normalcy of things that we often don't pay attention to. And I feel like that's the reason why I like this song a lot, is because like, for example, there are songs that try to like pick you up or anything like that, or I don't know, just give you, just uplift your mood or anything like that, but it doesn't recognize the sadness or the wistfulness or just the feelings of being trapped as much as this song, if you get what I mean. So I like how this song doesn't push you to focus on, as the title goes, focus on something too far off, but it encourages you to focus on at least what's happening now and ground yourself in a way. And I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's just my age talking or anything like that, that this song resonates with me so much. But yeah, I mean, apart from it just being the song that Sho produced, I feel like outside of just that clouded bias type of thing, that's a reason why I like this song so much. And obviously, like, you can feel all my biases going out here just by talking about it. So maybe time to move on. After that, we got delivered Amazing Romance. Now for this one, I was kind of disappointed because when I read the description for this, I was expecting it to be very fan fiction-y, very otome-ish type of thing, because of like how they pressed on that there's gonna be like, I don't know, 10 aishiterus repeated over and over in the lyrics or anything like that, which I totally get. But I don't know, this song just didn't hit me as hard as I feel like it should. Now, one of my favorite songs from the Koiwazura single is Kimi ga Kireida, and that one I feel like has a very fan servicey vibe to it in a way, but I like how that turned out more in terms of rhythm and tone as compared to this one. So again, not a bad song, feels very nice and fun, but definitely not my favorite. So yeah, speaking of the Koiwazura single, so Koiwazura is the next song for this. And again, this is definitely one of the funnest songs that I've listened to from King and Prince. I like it because of, I don't know, it's just very, very fun and very, very catchy. And I love how it became a single because of Kaguya-sama as well. Because I feel like, I don't know, it's just a very, very nice and fun song. And I feel like people have talked about this in general a lot already, and I know that a lot of people are particularly fond of this song. I'm particularly fond of this song. I don't want to like tap more into it anymore because, you know, it's been over exhausted at this point, just listening and just talking about it and everything like that. But this is definitely one of the funnest songs that they've released, and I absolutely love this song as well. So just putting it out there to all Koiwazuraiers out there. So yeah. I'm with you guys. Now, Freak Out, again, another favorite track of mine. I absolutely love this. It's a very cool song. The vibe is so smooth. It has a very mature, edgy vibe to it that, you know, it doesn't sound out of place for them to release this kind of song, but I just love everything that went into it. And again, I absolutely love that they went with this kind of song that has a very mature and different vibe, but it doesn't necessarily have to be like sultry or sexy in a way, but it's just that it's a very, very just cool song. And I don't know, it's definitely, again, one of my favorites from this album, and I just love how it turned out. I love the rhythm, everything that went into it, and the way that their voices sound in this particular song is also one of my favorites. So yeah. Now after that, so moving to that Freak Out, Heart and Beat, nice song, but then again, similar to Amazing Romance, not really a favorite of mine when it came to this album. Again, I feel like it has a very Johnny's signature vibe to it, but again, not really a standout track for me. I feel like, again, there are a lot of songs in this album that's a lot, you know, better than this one. Not a bad song, but yeah, just not the biggest fan of this one. Now, Ballad. Kimi ga iru sekai is, again, I like Kinpuri's slower songs. Absolutely in love with their slower songs. So I like this so much. Again, definitely not comparable to Ima Kimi ni or Glass Flower, but there's just something about this that really emphasizes their vocals a lot, and especially Kishi's vocals in the first chorus for some reason just slaps very, very differently for this song. There's just a crispness to it that really added a lot of layers to this particular ballad. I also just like how this song is in terms of just the lyrics, and I don't know, just the overall arrangement for this. And again, I feel like it's because I have a certain bias for their ballads. That's why I was able to like say it. But I don't know, I just really, 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 really love this song as well, and just love their ballads in general. And I like how this is the song that you chose to like wrap up the entire album, at least for the limited edition version once. So there's that. Now, let's move to the final track, or sort of like the bonus track for this entire album, which is Bounce. Now, this one is their all English song. This is the one they recorded in America, and this is just so. When again, I talked about this in my other video, but when they performed this in the CDTV live performance that they had, I was just shook. Like that level of just coolness, of suaveness, of just, and they improved so much in terms of pronunciation. Like everything sounds very, very nice and crisp, and the lyrics of it, like it's also just very, very compelling. It has a very fun vibe to it, but it doesn't sound foreign, if you know what I mean. Because sometimes, like when artists push out like all English songs or anything like that, or they train or they record it in a different country or anything like that, that it's sort of like produced by a foreign, you know, like it's been produced with like foreign people behind it. Like sometimes it sounds very different, but for some reason this just fits King and Prince's sound still. So that's why I like this song so much. Ren fans would probably kill me for saying this, but I do feel like Ren definitely sounds a little pitchy in the chorus of this song. Like I'm not the biggest fan of his pitchiness in this particular song. I mean, like for example, I really like his lower register a lot more, or whenever he's harmonizing in their other songs. For this one, I feel like, and it has something to do with, you know, when you're speaking in a different language or accent, or when you're singing, I feel like it has something to do with that. But I'm not the biggest fan of Ren's tonality in this particular song. I'm not saying it's bad, it's just that it sounds a little bit pitchy to me, like the whole bounce, bounce, that part. I don't know. But I mean, his other parts in the song sounds okay, but overall, this song is just, I don't know, I just really really love this song. I like the vibe of it. And I have to say that this is definitely Kaito and Kishi's song for some reason. Like, I think out of all the other members, the two of them really, really owned this song. And I don't know, just overall, absolutely love this album. I think I have a lot of like more favorite songs in this album again than the first one, and maybe it's because of the overall or overarching message that the song is that the album is trying to evoke. It just speaks to the very adult me. But yeah, overall, again, I feel like from the album art to just the concept to anything, I don't know, well made, very very well, very very cohesive album overall. The vibe of it, the tone of it, anything, the way that they arrange the tracks. There are a lot of like the good ones here. Some I'm not a huge fan of for some of the tracks, but still, like, holistically, such a good album in my opinion. And I don't know, I mean, I'm really really excited for them to perform other songs in this particular album live. And I feel like there are a lot of like performance worthy songs here in this album that's just really really something. And I don't know, I feel like, again, laced with bias whenever I'm talking about certain songs or just the album itself, but I just absolutely love it. An album that I'll be listening to for a long time. And I don't know, I just yeah. So with that said, so tell me down in the comments below, what are your favorite songs from this particular album? Any songs that didn't resonate with you as much or anything like that? So just talk it out like down in the comments below. And yeah, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you're new to my channel and you would want to hear more from me, please hit subscribe. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you again soon in a new one.